Hello there, my name is Jock and welcome to my show Movies the Games, where I do the pleasure of reviewing both a movie and a game that is based on that movie. And that is pretty much the gist of my entire show. So let's begin with a movie that almost everyone born in the 90s watched, Toy Story. Toy Story was the first CGI feature-length film created by Disney's Pixar, and the movie came out in the late of 1995. That was 20 years ago. Oh, I feel so... Anyway, the movie was directed by John Lasseter and starred the wondrous voice acting of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, John Ratzenberger, and Annie Potts. So let's make haste and get on with the movie. I'll put in the movie. The plot revolves around a toy called Woody and his gang of toys belovedly belonged to a boy called Andy. And today is Andy's birthday, and he gets a present, which is a Buzz Lightyear toy, the newest toy on the block. And basically, Woody doesn't like Buzz, and jealousy ensues, and fights, and then other stuff that you have probably seen and heard of. You've seen the movie. Do I need to explain the movie? So without talking about the rest, I shall use my 5 key words about the plot. Pizza, Sid, dog, renovation, style. The best thing about Toy Story is its characters. They have different likabilities and charm, and they have so much color in them in both design and charm. Both design and personality, I mean. Whoops. The animation still looks great to this day, even though some of it feels a tad bit dated. The toys move how I would think an actual toy would move in reality. So, top job there. I'm not a major fan of Randy Newman's music, but here, their songs have a great impact to the situations at hand in the movie, and You've Got a Friend in Me will never get out of my head. But I bet this scotch will help. I have a tiny, minor gripe about Toy Story, and you'd probably say, yeah, I'd admit that. You'd think of it more of a nitpick. But in some parts, like I said, the CGI does look a tad bit dated, like the dog's hair. I mean, that just don't look real now. But for the time, it was pretty good. And sometimes I do think that the humans look more like toys than actual humans. But apart from that, it's all good. But over the course of time, Pixar have improved their animation. I mean, look at Sully from Monsters Inc. Jesus Christ, look at all them hair details. Other than that, I really like Toy Story. It's a great time for kids, it's a great time for families, and it's a great time for everyone watching Toy Story. Even though it's 20 years old, oh my god. So, I say give it a watch, even though you've already watched it before. I'm going to give it 4 fingers and a half thumb. And now onto the game, I guess. The game was released on the Super Nintendo, right here, the Sega Mega Drive, I mean Genesis if you're in America and Canada, the Game Boy, and Windows PC. Sadly, I've only got the Super Nintendo, so I won't be able to talk about the upper ports, but I will go into detail about the special additional features on the upper consoles. So, sorry about that. Now, let's get onto the game. Alright, you can go in now. Very jolly. Let's get this thing on, shall we? Power on! Yes! Containing nearly all the key scenes from the film, from Andy's birthday to Pizza Planet to Sid's house, it covers them all. There was also a level that wasn't even the film, like Woody's nightmare sequence, where you fight a nightmare version of Buzz in Andy's toy box. You know, the game follows the story very, very well. I just wish there wasn't so much text, because there's a lot of it, I shall say. A bit too much. I don't think even kids back in the 90s, I bet they just pressed the stop button. There are a total of 17 levels on the Super Nintendo version, whilst there is an extra on the Sega and PC ports where you drive RC on the streets in a 3D perspective. The Game Boy only has 10 levels due to limitations of the handheld, but that's fully understandable. The visual presentation is such splendor. The sprites of the characters from Toy Story look like they came straight from the movie, except for this 3D sprite of Buzz Lightyear. The level design is okay. It's not too crazy, but seems a bit too simple. But hey, it's a game for the kids of the time. It's not too big of a deal. The backgrounds do repeat very, very highly. That can easily be ignored when focusing on the platforming though. Also, what in the earth kind of dance is that? And yes, you see it every time you complete a level. Magnifique. The game's controls are as simplistic as any platformer from the Super Nintendo. You can jump and use your whip to tie up enemies, break blocks, and swing on hooks. It's very fluent and fast too, although the trajectory of whipping enemies doesn't always succeed. There is actually some levels that change up the variety of gameplay. There is a first-person view level where you rescue the little green men from inside the claw machine, running sections, a sort of stealth part, 3 boss battles, which is 2 Buzz battles and the claw, and 1 other. One thing I do hate in this game is the RC parts. Man, they are very fiddly to control. Mainly because it's a different perspective and it's very... they didn't put enough time into it, I say. But this will help. Ah, you codger, I'm gonna get ya. Some levels last for about 3 to 5 minutes each. Sometimes even less. It's not a very difficult game when you get the hang of it though. The game can be beaten around in 40 minutes tops, maybe. That's if you're a speedrunner, of course. But I can get the gist of it, it's pretty easy. My favorite part of this game is the very bodacious music. Sorry. I bloody love this game's music. It's bouncy, jazzy, and snazzy and works completely. There are only 2 songs from the film out of the 3. You've Got a Friend in Me and Strange Things. I Won't Go Sailing No More is the one that was excluded, and I honestly don't think it would have implemented well in one of the levels. I actually prefer this Strange Things cover version more than the actual version. Now that's saying something. And the original compositions are excellent also. The best track is from the first level. There is actually voice acting in this game, and it sounds good. What's really interesting is that Tom Hanks' brother, Jim Hanks, did the voice for Woody, and Pat Fraley, who has voiced so many numerous cartoon characters, such as Krang, did the voice for Buzz Lightyear. Toy Story on the Super Nintendo was a fair amount of fun. Are there flaws? Most definitely, but it's a fast, enjoyable experience that you could finish during a luncheon. Is it better than the film? No. I will say that I like them both, though, in different ways. I'm not one to compare of which is better, but it's what I must do. So, the grand selection of choice is the movie. Also, check the game as well in future preference, because it is a good game. Very underrated. And this is where I conclude my show, and I say thank you very much for watching this episode, and next time is going to be another SNES game, but it's not any SNES game. it's Star Wars. Or, if you want to take it more over the step, Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. I just call it Star Wars. Ta-ta!